Do you know how difficult it is to get kicked out of an Uber or a Lyft? I mean, you really gotta work hard.
I mean, in my case, you just got to vom in the back seat.
Yeah, that'll do it.
That'll do it.
Yeah, that's a red flag for sure. That gets you
And a
kicked out
fine.
of the game. Yep. But this just recently happened to Mo.
All of the lifts I have taken in my life, and there's a lot, because for those who don't know, I choose to not have a car, so I'm a lifter. And I have never had an issue in the Lyft, not one time. And it seems like this one Lyft ride made up for every time that I didn't. And I genuinely couldn't believe it. I still can't believe that this happened to me. I've been doing such a good job lately of controlling my emotions and not letting things get to me. And I feel like the moment you make that decision to do that, the universe goes, okay.
Time to test you.
Yeah, let's just see how good you really are at this. And so this is Friday, and for those of you who may have missed it, I was on my way to the airport because I was literally waiting to the last minute to make this decision of if I was going to go to the baby shower with the woman that I'm dating, or if I was going to go to the Canelo fight instead. And so I had no room for error, which is why I bring that up as I'm on my way to the airport. Which I may or may not have done on purpose, but that's irrelevant now.
You didn't want to make that trip to the baby shower.
I did not.
Imagine that.
Right? So, no room for error.
And you're stressed, probably, right? Is that what you're saying?
Of course. I'm definitely stressed. Putting it all together last minute, getting it together, cool. But I had enough time to make the flight. Wasn't checking it back. Shouldn't be a problem. I get in the lift, and I can already kind of sense that the guy's energy was a little off. I don't really know why, but it just was.
Having a bad day.
Having a bad day, probably. So I get in, I'm like, hello, and he doesn't really say anything. He just asks me, are you, if I'm who it says I am?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, yep, that's me. He says, okay, good. So we take off, and we get maybe, I would say, 5 to 10 minutes into the ride. That wasn't a lot. And he kind of does a double back to look at what I'm doing. And I had a Gatorade with me. I pulled the Gatorade out of my bag because I'm fighting a hangover on my way to the airport. I brought a Gatorade with me. And I take the Gatorade, top off, I sip a little bit, I put the top back on. And he goes, it's illegal to drink that in my car.
A Gatorade.
A Gatorade.
Do you have it in the back of Lyfts and Ubers with red Solo cups filled with vodka and they've never said a word?
That's what I'm thinking. I know plenty of people who have done that, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, illegal might be a stretch. Are you saying you just don't want me to have a drink in your car? So he goes, no, it's illegal to drink that in my car. I'm like, I don't have a car, but I'm pretty sure it's not.
Yeah.
I don't know if the rules have changed, the law have changed, but I'm pretty sure I'm good.
Yeah.
So then he's like, just throw the Gatorade out. Just throw the Gatorade out. So I'm like, all right, dude, you know what? I'm not about to fight you over Gatorade. I close the Gatorade, I put it back in my bag, and I'm thinking we can continue on with the ride.
Mm-hmm.
And he looks and he goes, no, throw it out.
Like out the window?
Like out the window.
Now that is illegal.
Right, that we know.
Exactly my point.
we can
I'm
establish
like, wait
that.
a minute.
Right.
That's the illegal part, right? So he goes, I don't care. I don't care. Throw it. I'm like, bro, I put it in my bag. Like, what's the problem? It's not even out anymore. It's in my bag.
So did he think you had mixed alcohol with your Gatorade?
So at this point, I don't know, right?
Okay.
At this point, I'm like in shock trying to figure out what the hell is going on. So I'm like, bro, the Gatorade is in my bag. I need the Gatorade. I'm not throwing my Gatorade out. So he goes, okay, no problem. Pulls over on the highway.
No, he did not.
On the highway.
No, he did not.
Pulls the car over. We're not going anywhere until you throw the Gatorade out.
Shut up. What a weirdo.
So I'm like, what the hell is wrong with this man? Like, I'm thinking at this point, I'm being pranked, right? I'm like, oh, the show got me. I'm like, there's no way this is happening. So I'm sitting there like, man, so you want me to litter? You risking our lives by trying to pull over and pull back on the side of a highway. You doing all of this because I have a Gatorade in my bag?
You're literally on the highway.
On the highway, pulled over on the side of the road. Like we went through the little bumps and everything to get into the grass. All because I got a Gatorade. So at this point now, I feel like I'm in a standoff and I can't lose, right? Like I'm in my head though, I'm like, I can't let this man kick me out this lift. I have to make it to the airport.
Well, I'm also thinking it's illegal to let somebody out of a car on the side of a highway.
I would think the same. So
Yeah.
so eventually we get there. He goes, well, if you don't throw it out, then I'm dropping you off as soon as we get off the highway. I said, all right, fine. I can't miss my flight.
Yeah.
Take the Gatorade out of my bag, throw the Gatorade out. Now you made me litter on the side of the highway, right? Then he pulls off. You know what? I'm dropping you off anyway.
Are you serious
I'm
right now?
so serious. So I'm like, are you serious? Yes, I'm serious. Then he starts cursing at me and puts the camera on to show, I guess, the security people that I was the aggressor and I wouldn't get out of his car.
Damn.
And I'm like, bro, that's not at all what happened. You just forced me to throw a Gatorade out. So the guy drives, gets off at the next exit, stops at like some parking lot or something, And as he's like getting off the exit, he calls like Lyft security. I guess, like on the camera. Like he puts the camera on, he makes a phone call, and somebody answers, and he's telling them that he's in danger. So I'm in the back going, you've got to be kidding me. And then this is where the moment I realized what was happening. When the security answered, they go, what seems to be the issue? And he goes, this guy's in the back of my car drinking a beer.
And you told him time and time again it was a
I told him
Gatorade.
4 times it was a Gatorade. It was a purple Gatorade. When the last time you seen a purple beer? When? So I'm trying to tell security through his speakerphone it was a Gatorade. It wasn't a beer. Y'all can check the cameras. It was completely a Gatorade. The camera saw the entire thing. So I don't know if he just was having a bad day, if he just felt like lying, if he genuinely thought it was a beer somehow. I still to this moment don't know what this guy's issue was, but he kicked me out the Lyft. He ended up kicking me out. He told security that I had a beer in his car and that I wouldn't get out the car. Both were completely untrue, but I ended up missing my flight because this guy kicked me out of his Lyft for a
Come
Gatorade.
on. So did you have to pay for another flight?
Yeah, I had to rebook my flight.
You got to charge that to Uber.
I've been talking to Lyft like back and forth.
Lyft, yeah.
It's not an easy thing to do, but I've been back and forth in communication with them ever since it's happened.
Don't give that up.
I won't.
That's
I won't
so
stop.
messed up.
Unbelievable.
Wow. I got one real question for you, though. How do I get my hands on that video?
I'm surprised it hasn't gone viral by now.
The Bert Show.